That's a cool page, man. My wife got mad at me because I got out the bed. And then she was like, what you about to do? I said, I'm about to sit in here. Cause then I got back in the bed. So I'm about to sit in here. I got a meeting at 6:30 and a podcast at 7. Oh, why you didn't tell me? What doesn't matter? I'm in the bed. Like, you just got mad at me for getting out of the bed. Now I'm in the bed. Now you mad again?
All right, we're about to be live in a second.
I wasn't live, was it?
We are live now.
Oh, Keedar, you don't get no warning on the podcast. We start with Eric ready to start. That's what we start.
He start when it sinks.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right. That's pretty much it. Welcome to the 30-minute hour. It's the weekly podcast where we discuss business, sports, politics, and whatever's on our mind. I'm your host, Eric Twiggs, your procrastination prevention partner. Joining me as always, he's my partner in crime. He's my right-hand man. He's the business strategist extraordinaire, the super CEO, the man that gets a new nickname every week, Ted Fells.
Greetings, everyone.
All right. Cool. I'm excited about our guest today. We're going to introduce him in a second.
Your procrastination prevention
Not a stranger to us at all.
As always, he's my partner in crime. He's my right-hand man. He's the...
What you got going on over there, Eric?
That's not me.
That's me, man. Eric trying to tell me to stream, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Now I'm trying to stream it to everybody.
I thought we was being hacked.
Though we had somebody else joining. We had a special guest that we didn't know about.
You hack us, we let you come on in the fun. Come on in.
Hey, we looking for the followers, so you
right.
know.
Come on in.
But whatever it takes, you know. Hey. Hey. Also, special shout out to those of you who are following us on Instagram, who are watching us on IGTV. Hi there.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
See you.
We appreciate you. All right. This is certainly, as you can see, not your everyday podcast. Hopefully you continue to watch us, but you can find us on Facebook. You can go to our page. It's the 30minutehour.net. You can watch me live on IGTV, on Instagram.
To my left side, you can watch the left side of you. Right.
So Facebook people, as you're watching me, I keep looking this way. I'm looking at the Instagram people. And Instagram people, I look this way. I'm looking at Facebook. Don't think I'm leaving you out. I'm just trying to capture everybody, because this is not your everyday podcast. And those of you who are streaming live with us on Facebook, you can put your comments. I see people starting to join slowly but surely, but definitely leave your comments. Say hello to us. Keep looking this way. I'm looking.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
This is gonna be an interesting show.
Already.
Oh.
So speaking of interesting, I mean, in the What Now movement group, as you know, every Monday is Motivational Monday, and we had Dr. Shane was our guest today. He went on and did the live, and he gave some tips. He said that the tips he gave, it changed his life so much, it changed his tax code and his zip code.
Yeah. It's possible.
He said that thing is life-changing. So you need to go to the What Now movement Facebook group and watch that Motivational Monday. So speaking of which, you know, we're talking about the What Now movement group that everybody needs to join. Ted, man, you've been doing this thing that's really getting a lot of traction. And it really ties into what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, you call it Ted's 2 cents.
That's right, my 2 cents.
Matter of fact, I'm going to share it. I want to give everybody a visual.
I thought he was about to DJ Wody, give you some intro.
Oh, yeah. We figure it out as we go.
That's right.
We figured out as we go.
Here. This is something else. So every week in the What Now movement group, we do what's called Ted's 2 cents. And Ted, can you speak to Ted's 2 cents for this week?
Sure. So It's pretty straightforward. It says, just because they are around you does not mean that they are in your circle.
That's profound.
Right. That can apply to business. That can apply to your personal life. Just people around you does not mean that they are in your circle. And so you're trying to get your real team, right? Your real team of your friends, your real team of your business team that's needed in order for you to be successful. And all that stuff doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it takes some time to get the right team together, both personal and in business. So just because they're around you does not mean that they are in your circle.
That's
Get
right.
your team together. That's my 2 cents.
Oh man, we certainly appreciate Ted's 2 cents.
And now you put pressure on me when you said it's every week. It's really not every week. It's kind of like when it come to mind, right? So I didn't do nothing last week.
Manifesting it.
Yeah, but I got a couple in the queue, so we should be good for every week for the next couple weeks.
Well, hopefully you can come up with something next week, right?
Oh, I got something in the queue we can use.
Got something in the queue.
It may not be
standby.
It may not be as applicable to, to the guest, but I'll do the best I can do.
Awesome, man. I certainly appreciate that. All right, man. So, Ted.
Yes, sir.
I got something that's on my mind.
Please share, Eric.
So today I want to talk to you. I want to ask you this question. Are you focused on the sweet spot? That's right. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to look at the Instagram people as I say it.
Yeah.
Are you focused on the sweet spot? Okay. And so this story, our guest, he's got a basketball background, so he'll certainly appreciate this. So Coach John Wooden is considered to be the greatest coach of all time in any sport, right? So his UCLA Bruins, they won 10 national championships in 12 years, and he was named Coach of the Year 6 times. So as our guest would be able to tell you here in a second, that usually when a player goes up to a different level of competition, let's say they go from high school to college, their shooting percentage tends to go down, right? Because you're going to a higher level of competition, the stakes are higher, so your shooting percentage normally goes down. But with John Wooden, this was not the case. So the players that John Wooden coached, their shooting percentage was actually higher when they played for him than when they were in high school, right? And how is that possible? I know Ted is killing you. You're like, how is that possible? How are they shooting higher at UCLA?
Tougher competition, and they just got better.
Right. So here's what happened. So he was getting interviewed by Dr. John Maxwell in this book. It's called The 5 Levels of Leadership. And during the interview, he said that, many of the players, they came to him as average shooters, but they got better. And what he did was he studied them when they were in high school to see where their sweet spot was. In other words, he knew they had a specific spot on the floor where they were the most effective, right? So if you played for John Wooden, he designed specific plays according to where you were supposed to shoot. So if you were a 15-foot shooter, you ran the 15-foot play. So if you were a 15-foot shooter and you shot from 30 foot, guess what happened? You went and sat on the bench right beside Coach Wooden, right? So he focused on their sweet spot. And by doing this, he was able to build a winning team. Now you may be saying, okay, great story, Twigs, but I don't coach basketball. What does this have to do with me? What can I do to focus on the sweet spot in my life? Here it is. You ready?
Ready.
Instagram people, you ready? Put the ham sandwich down. When you listen to this, this is very important. You need to hire the right people for the right role. That's the key. That is the key to focusing on the sweet spot. Making sure you have the right people in the right role. And I bring this up because our guest today, he helps educators to focus on that sweet spot. He helps them to hire the right people for the right role. You know, some analogies that say, you know, when you have people on the bus, make sure they're in the right seat. And getting the wrong people off the bus, getting the right people on the bus. Whatever metaphor, analogy you want to use, just do it. Focus on the sweet spot. But our guest today is going to talk to us about how he does that and how he helps education. He's doing some big things in the field of education. Let's go ahead and introduce him right about now. All right, he is the founder and CEO of Educators Now, right? So Educators Now was founded to aid all educational institutions with placement, recruitment, and retention of qualified educators. He works with clients in private schools, K through 12, Montessori schools, charter schools, early childhood programs, and Head Start programs in Metro Atlanta and beyond to help them meet their hiring needs. He has a passion for education and wants all institutions to have the right people in place with a collective mission to help each student reach his or her greatest potential. Please join me in welcoming to the 30-minute hour, Keedar Whittle.
What's up? What's up?
Yes, welcome.
All right. Man, it's an honor to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be here. I was going to cancel. I'm blessed to be here. I said, you got the energy to do it.
And we're blessed that you didn't cancel on us.
Now, for those that don't know, I just got out the hospital. I was in the hospital all weekend. I had surgery. I had major leg surgery. It's the second one. I'm claiming it is the last one. But then my leg is going to be straight. Everything on that side of my body is going to be aligned, and I'm going to make a rec league comeback in somebody YMCA league.
You're going to be out there giving it to them.
Yeah, they're giving them buckets. Well,
so man, let's talk about that real quick. So part of the reason I chose that little opening is because I know you have a basketball background. Why don't you share like your basketball background, and you ended up getting a scholarship to Norfolk State? Talk about that.
Yeah, I ended up playing ball at Norfolk, graduated from Norfolk State, playing ball on scholarship there. Kind of thought I was going to go to the league or go overseas, but really didn't display the passion needed for two-a-days overseas. This is always work. So eventually I went up to Boston for education. I went up there for grad school, but ended up getting a job as a science coordinator for 3 middle schools. While up there, I developed the science curriculum, and I taught about 12 to 15 teachers a year how to teach that curriculum. By making partnerships with like the Science Museum and other places in Boston that could bring value to the science program that these schools did not have.
Interesting.
But I like the John Wooden analogy because my gym in LA, our court is actually where the John Wooden Awards are held. So every year, these prime athletes come in town, stay at our athletic facilities, and it's just an honor just to be around so many young people like living out their dream. So it's definitely within that essence that I'm very familiar with the John Wooden.
Yeah. So I mean, and you're an interesting guy, right? You're multi-talented. You do a lot of different things. But I mean, I'm just curious, like what is it specifically about education that you said, you know what, this is really something I need to focus on?
Hey, I'm blessed. I'm blessed and fortunate that I knew from a young age education was my thing. Now I did some U-turns and some ups and downs and some over some valleys and under some rocks to get there. But at the end of the day, I knew education was going to be my thing. And for me, it was my relationship with God that directed my path. Now, there are some things that I had to be in tune with to confirm that. And when I look back over my not childhood, but when I look back over the jobs that I've had, the pleasures that I've had, the satisfaction that I've had, all of those jobs were within education. And let's say it's not even formal education. Let's say it's me taking the 2 kids down the block that don't know how to play basketball and taking them under my wing. Let's say it's my cousin who's struggling. I'm over his house and I'm helping him with his work. You know, it's easy for me. My mom's a retired educator. My sister's currently a principal. My dad, he's in sales, but you know, when you making that transition, you got to do something. And he went into substitute teaching every now and then. So, I mean, it's immense in my house. Education is something that's super valued, and I know the power of it. And you know, they tell us the power of education is at the schoolhouse. It ain't. It's there. It can help, but the power of education is all around, and we all have it in us. Like we all have it in us to educate, and it doesn't have to be one of the 5 hot subjects. It could be finances, which should be a hot subject. It should be life, which is a hot subject. It should be anything.
So does it require you to be good at it to teach?
You ain't gotta be good. There's some bad ones out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you had all those educators around you, so you must have had all good grades in school.
No. Yes, and yes, when I wasn't being bad.
Okay.
I definitely had my rebel phases, but for the most part, I always knew education would be my thing.
Interesting. So, if you could go back in time when you were a sophomore at Norfolk State, kind of knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to yourself?
Man, I would let that girl alone long time. I wouldn't even talk to her. She took away a whole 2 semesters of my life. I just playing. I would have saved my refund check. The refund check that I would have gotten, I would have saved it. I would have figured out how to purchase around the campus so I can live off campus and charge people rent. And I would have maybe stayed on a dorm an extra year. I mean, stayed on campus an extra year, save that money.
Okay.
And you know what I didn't take advantage of? I didn't take advantage of all the connections, all the networking that could have gone on at the school. Like going to a HBCU alone, there's so much rich history that's there that if you don't tap into it, you're missing out on why you are at an HBCU.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because I can say for myself, like I didn't realize how powerful and important networks were.
Yeah.
Like, you think, okay, you know, if I just work hard and do my thing, that's going to get me ahead.
Right.
But you know, and you hear the thing, oh yeah, it's who you know, but it is really who you know a lot of times.
Yeah. Do you both think that that's more something that should be coming more from the students or more from the alumni to let students know that this network is out there?
Well, I think when we were in school, and I'm gonna include y'all in that, because even when I was in school, I don't know if we really knew how powerful networking is from a mass perspective. I think individuals at the school knew, but now, I mean, because of like social media, networking is probably the number 2 tool that you can have in life. Because I mean, you talk with people. So I think now, one, students are aware, but I think 2, the organizations plus the leaders at the school should create the environment to do so. But they should also create it off campus, because how many Norfolk State students went and talked to the mayor of Norfolk, want to set up a meeting with the mayor of Norfolk? How many people talked to the governor of the state of Virginia? Like how many people actually sought out to talk to others? Let's say there's a guy that is from when I was in school, a Sigma, Devon Henry. He does construction. I wonder how many construction owners he could have networked with while in college. And let's say I hope he did, because he's very successful. But it's those things that if we learn how to take advantage of them, like while in school, it's super easy coming out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great point.
Yeah, for sure. So you're known as the rock star of education.
Yeah, man.
So how did that come about?
I got a real rebel side of me.
Shocking.
Right.
I told shocking.
And the hard part is like when you supposed to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that ain't really what education is.
Mm.
It ain't really like sometimes you gotta sweat, sometimes you gotta get dirty, sometimes you gotta rock out with the kids, sometimes you just gotta have fun. And I'm all about having fun. I'm all about not life being, but life don't have to be boring.
Mm.
And everything I do is education. Like everything I do. I got 4 companies. They're all education related.
So you bring like a different flavor. It's not your traditional, okay, class. Yeah, we're doing it today. It's
none of that, bro. So I actually used to teach at one of the schools up in Boston. And we used to start the school class off every day. They would have to say their name, how they feel, and they had to choose a word that's better than good. You won't ever hear me say, yeah, I'm good. No, I'm great. You won't ever see me even type good morning. I always type great morning. So they had to say a word that's better than good. And at the end, all the kids came together. They said, my name is, let's say Carlos. My name is Carlos and I am somebody. And that's how we started every class. It woke them up. It gave them that positive energy. I taught them that I believe in the power of the tongue. And some people came in there like bad attitude, not feeling it, not trying to give it to me. Bro, you either gonna step out or you gonna step in. I'd rather you in and let's pour this love on you so you can get out of it, at least for this class, so you can be open to learning. Because some people walk in class, they're not even open to learning.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to be the rock star of education. I'm a wild child. I go out. I got 4 kids. My wife is pregnant. There's nothing traditional about this house over here at all, bro. Yeah.
So we're on the 30-minute hour. You're watching us here live. We've got the rock star of education, Keedar Whittle. And then we got more and more people starting to join us on different formats. Again, type your comments in, say hello.
Eric, I think we might starting the show about 7:25. That's when folks start coming on. I think they're having dinner at like 6:30, 6:45. Then they start trickling in. Y'all, the show is 7 o'clock. Show 7 o'clock.
7-ish, right? Oh man, we got a laid back crowd. They just join us. But now we definitely appreciate
you.
Make sure you type it in your comments. You too, folks that are watching us on Instagram, IGTV. So
you forgot the Instagram people.
Yeah, man. I want to leave out the Instagram folks, right?
Can't leave out the IG folks. Them the ones that's gonna follow you for a couple more years. These Facebook folks might die. Anybody watching you on IGTV, keep them. They're gonna be around for a couple years.
And well. Oh man. So Keedar, so you're the founder and CEO of Educators Now. So talk to us about like who your client is and how specifically do you help them?
Man, so our partners, and I call everyone partners. We're all partners in education. We service childcare facilities, so like the YMCA, Boys Girls Club, Shelter in Arms, those institutions, United Way, as well as after school programs. So any elementary school that has an after school program, we also service those schools, as well as grade schools, K through 12. Mostly charter schools, private schools, Montessori. We just got into a public school sector, so that's awesome. So we're excited about that. A lot of the public schools are realizing that they are failing at just substitute teaching. It's a lot to manage on their own. So now they're not going to fully give it over to third-party companies, but they're now welcoming some RFPs just to handle some of the substitute teaching. So it's great. I mean, we're childcare all the way through 12th grade. And what's amazing about it is some people don't know that they can do it.
Mm.
They just don't know that they can be in education. I mean, 95% of what we do is substitute teaching. Like 95% of what we do is that day-to-day support, that last minute, I can't make it. That, you know what I'm saying? We come in too right away. But we also provide over 100, like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 100 permanent placement teachers a year. That's crazy. And the great part about it is all they need is a high school diploma or a GED equivalent and can pass a background check. They could be in a childcare facility. They can be an assistant at a childcare facility. Now, once you start moving to your lead teacher and people that are actually delivering the lessons, that's when we're partnered with our local colleges and universities to get that pipeline of people that are in education so that we can make sure we continue to serve.
Wow.
Wow.
So you partner with university, but how else do you find like all these teachers?
I hire people and they find them. I don't find them no more. Now, I put out ads. We have Indeed ads, word of mouth. Before COVID, we were doing a lot of career fairs, which we're now starting to pick up doing career fairs virtually, but we have a couple in-persons coming up. But we'll try to hire as many people as possible because there's such a need. Like, I am not going to claim what I do is like unique, like I found it, like, oh no, he found the one thing, the one person. No, it's like 4 other companies that do what I do. They don't do it as well as we do.
Right.
With as much love and care, because I come from the industry. A lot of these companies, they don't come from the industry. They come from, I'm an entrepreneur. I come from education. I don't care. I care about the dollar because I gotta have the dollar to keep the company going. But at the end of the day, and you will hear anybody that works with us, all of our contract, all of our teachers, at the end of the day, all I care about is the scholar. That's it. So whatever you got going on in your life, when you show up at that school, leave it at the front door. You are there for the scholar. That attitude that just keeps us moving forward, and that's why schools love us.
So you mentioned something not too long ago about, when that person is not feeling well, that teacher, and they call in and then you send someone in to be a substitute. How has that worked with this whole virtual world? Like,
so Atlanta, I'm in Atlanta. Atlanta is wide open. I say it all the time. Like, y'all think I'm playing, but Atlanta is wide open. So we have some teachers that are actually teaching virtually. They're like a long-term sub, or they'll be there for the whole year. They're teaching virtually. So they fall right in line with whatever's going on. Our childcare facilities, they're open. So some they retained some staff, but for the most part, we get calls to be like, hey, you got 6 people you can send us today? Because those childcare facilities are open. Because if you think about it, like a lot of people that drop their kid off, they're frontline workers. They work at the Chick-fil-A. That's frontline, bro. They work somewhere where they got to clock in on an hour, and they need that. So the childcare facilities are open. Now, I did start another company. So at the end of the day, there will be an umbrella of companies, of education companies under one big umbrella. Because of COVID, I went ahead and moved forward. I moved forward a 2-year plan to now and started a company called Tutors on Demand. With Tutors on Demand, we actually deploy teachers into homes to help with virtual learning. Y'all know these parents can't do it. They can't. They frustrated.
Hey, hold on. Why are you looking at me when you say that, man? That's all.
I'm talking about frustrated. So we come in, we send a teacher, create a positive learning environment, encourage them to get through the lesson, make sure they're logged in where they're supposed to be logged in, take them outside, get some fresh air, try to service the whole child. And it'll be a couple of parents that get together and they They have like 3 or 4 kids in this pod. So we actually deployed a teacher there to make sure that that happens.
So basically that's a pivot that you made just because of the pandemic.
But I had to, man. I had to figure out how to make this money. I'm married to a strong Black woman. No late payments in this house, bro. Ain't no late payments over here.
So, I mean, we're talking about the pandemic, and it's been a tough, trying time for a lot of people. I mean, what advice do you have for people in education during these tough times? What are some things that they can do to kind of pivot? And
My serious advice is drink margaritas. No, I'm just playing. Right now, education is tough, and teachers are tired.
Yeah,
Bro, they didn't get hired to teach virtually. They didn't get hired to upload a bunch of paperwork. They didn't get hired to shoot a bunch of videos. They didn't get hired to deal with parents, deal with the school system, and deal with the administrative staff about virtual learning and regular learning. They didn't do that. Now you have kids going back to school and they still have to teach virtually. So you're going to have kids in the classroom on a computer while she's teaching virtually to people at home. That's a lot of stress. And this is something new for all of us. So teachers, like, please, 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 this year has been a struggle. The number of education graduates decrease each year. I can only imagine what this will do to that freshman class that came in and said, I want to be an educator. Or that sophomore that like, oh, I really got to take these education classes, but I don't know about that. So I can only imagine. So just stick with it. Figure out what you want out of education and start plugging away at that. Because I'm in education. I'm not in the classroom. I'm in education and I'm not in the building every day. I'm in education and we can still make a difference. So you just got to figure that part out. But we don't need you to lead. We don't need you to lead the industry. Like we need you. We need you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great advice. So now, in addition to what you're doing in the education field, I mean, you've been successful in the entertainment world as well. I mean, you've been an actor, you've been a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you get involved in the arts?
He's looking like I am pretty awesome. I am pretty awesome.
I played basketball my whole life, and for some reason, I always thought I could be Bud off the Cosby Show, and I could do what Urkel does off the Urkel Show. What's the show called?
Family Matters.
I figured I could be both of them dudes. So there was always some kind of level of entertainment within me. And when I played ball, I felt like I was out there entertaining. I didn't want to live with any regrets. I did a play. Like, all right, cool. Let me do a play. And the response from that play was so overwhelming. You can only imagine I received it. It was like, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And I just started down this path where I became a professional actor in Boston. And then I auditioned for my theater in New York. And I did 2 years on Broadway. And moved out to LA for like 12 years. But I always said, like, you know what? When I'm doing this acting stuff so I can open up schools all around the world. That's what I'm doing. God was like, nah, bro, I need you to open up the schools first. So it's cool, man. It's great. I mean, I'm still in it. I'm on a show right now on Showtime called Your Honor. We're still shooting our first season, so it's not out yet. I'm not going to pub my stand-up special that's out there because it is before my PR firm got with me and told me I can't say certain things. But that's the rock star of education life. Like, I mean, you get it all. Like you can't tell me it ain't no parents at home no kids at home that done seen their parents have a whole comedy show with their uncles and nephews and everybody. Like they see it is what it is. Like it's a bunch of different flavors in this world, you know. Like I could talk to all of them, bro. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I can go from Bankhead to Buckhead.
So, have you found that your experience? I guess better question: how has your experience in the arts helped you in business?
comfortable. It makes me comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, doing stand up, bro. You get on that stage, and it's like you and the mic. What you gonna do?
Right.
When I get into these meetings, bro. A lot of people that I deal with in education are women. It is what it is. I come in with my suit on. I got a fresh shave. I got my hair cut, and I'm making you laugh. Oh, you getting this contract? But that's what it is. I'm super comfortable around people and just, you know, connecting dots.
Yeah, that's interesting. But they say now they're looking at like these fine art schools for like business people are looking like at UCLA's fine arts department.
You create people.
Right, because they're creative. They can think outside the box.
Man, this world we live in is not within a box.
Mm-hmm.
A box that we're looking at right now. I'm actually in a box, and my phone is a box. Those are the boxes that we need to be looking at, because that's where it's.
Awesome. So what's next on the horizon for you?
So COVID made me change. I ain't gonna elaborate. Like, I felt like, you know, the company is good enough for now. I'm gonna just lay the company down. Kind of like riding a motorcycle. I'm gonna lay the bike down. I'm gonna get up and ride again one day. But I couldn't quit. I felt like I was quitting. I felt like I was letting kids down. I felt like I was letting families down by not offering a solution. So now it's just moving full steam ahead with my plan of expansion of the company that I had from the get-go. Like our company will be the biggest in the Southeast within the next 3 years. No doubt in my mind. Like it's super easy. Like I know it will be. But I need to be in Texas. I need to be in Oklahoma. I need to be up in Maine. I got connects in Michigan. So right now it's just building out Educators now, making sure we are sustainable, not just from a financial perspective, but from a workflow perspective, from a duplication perspective. Because I feel like, you know, coming into the business, it was me. I did it all. I did payroll. I was HR. I did the orientations. I did the interviews. I went and talked to the schools. I placed everyone. I get text messages from 4:45 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night. I'm placing teachers. I did it for 2 years by myself. Then I started hiring people. And I started hiring more people. And now I have a whole office. We got a whole office of people. So I started working on the business and not in the business. I really had to make that transition because you can't really grow if you don't figure out how to get out of, like, how to work on the business. If you always see, you can't see down the street.
Yeah, it's hard to focus on the forest if you're stuck in the trees. That's for sure. And you kind of have to do it. For me, it was, I think I missed like 3 emails. I went from being on top of my invoices, like, shoot, and folks turn in the timesheet, I'm invoicing you right away. Invoicing for like 2 weeks. So it's like, oh, because I guess financially I'm comfortable. I can wait 2 weeks. But it's like, I'm really not. I need that money, but I don't have the time. Oh, you need to hire somebody.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked out for me.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. So how can our followers best get connected with you?
I'm on all social platforms at Keedar, Keedar. You can always send me contact me at office@educatorsnowllc.com. If you want to book me, you want to talk, let's talk. I don't mind. I love doing podcasts and talking about education. The more we can get the word out there, maybe y'all one day got a day off and you want to go substitute teach. Maybe it provokes you to do something twice a year in the education world.
You talking about us? Like Eric and I?
Yeah. Even
man, them kids ain't got enough patience for me, man. I get up in there, man. Them kids like, look.
Right. Hey, look. When's the last time you volunteered at your church with the youth?
Man, you know, look, I ain't done that at church. It seemed like 8 months anyway. I can't remember last time I did something outside of virtual church.
Right. Maybe one of these conversations help get you there and say, you know what, I'm gonna go volunteer this Saturday doing that. So Hit up, I have a PR firm, Mia, Modern Creative. You can hit up info at Modern Creative. But yeah, get at me, man. Instagram, slide in my DMs. I got you. I'm married.
So as far as like the whole educational industry, right? I mean, you know, because everybody always talks about when things get back to normal. Like, I mean, what are your thoughts on getting back to normal? What's normal going to look like? Is it going to be a hybrid of what, you know?
I think it's going to be everybody got to have their COVID shot, their COVID vaccine before they come 2021, 2022. Just like they do the flu shot. You got to have it. If you've already started vaccines, you got to keep getting the vaccine. So if you haven't started them, don't start them. But if you have started vaccines, you have to continue with vaccines all throughout college, all up until college. So I think that's going to be a new normal. I think the sensitivity of just the educators, the sensitivity of their, oh, my throat, oh, I can't go today. So we might have to see an increase in sick time. Because, I mean, what you gonna tell somebody? Like, I ain't got no more sick days. You gonna show up? I don't really want to do that. You can still give somebody the flu. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you had a flu shot or not. You can still give someone the flu.
Yeah.
I think those are going to be new normals that we're just going to have to get used to. I don't think they're going to let a lot of strangers in the building. I don't think too many outside people are going to be able to come in buildings anymore, unless we're talking like 2-3 years from now when our guard is back down. But when they start back in January face to face, which a lot of schools down here in Georgia are starting back in October. When everybody start back face to face in January, I think those are going to be the new changes. And you're going to see that trickle over till 2021, 2022. Now, what they need to do, though, is we need to hire more people in mental health to go into the classrooms. Because as we navigate through these new normals, as adults, it's tough for us. Imagine how tough it is for the kids. So hopefully schools are going to come on board. Hopefully somebody come give every school $1 million to bring in just some health officials, because our babies need it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be kind of the next normal.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're absolutely right. We're going to have a next normal. I do think our guard is going to go back down.
Yeah, I
do think we are going to. I mean, Atlanta's already doing it, but I think the rest of the country is going to go back to having concerts of 1,000 people or more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Atlanta had a concert this weekend. It was T.I.'s birthday. You didn't think we was gonna have a concert? T.I. and 2 Chainz at a concert. but I think eventually our guard is gonna be let down. We're gonna feel like everyone is safe again, and then maybe another re-election is coming.
Interesting. You mentioned the thing about the teachers that call in sick. I just always wonder, you know, like, why does everybody have to use the sick voice?
I don't know why they don't tell the truth.
Gotta use the sick voice. Yeah. They just say, you know, hey man, I'm not feeling too good. I'm not coming in.
They go all out, bro. And
I can't make it.
Bro, they lie to me. I'll be like, no, you should tell me I want this dollar.
Right.
Oh man.
1 of 5.
All right. Cool. This is the perfect time for us to go around the horn. So Keedar, this is Ted's favorite show, part of the show where we actually leave everybody with like a final thought. You know, what do they want us to, what we want them to remember? So Keedar, we'll start with you. Like, what's your final thought you want to leave people with based on today's show?
Eric, what's going on with your volume? Like, are you like whispering?
That's it. That's his mature Monday voice. Please
That's
leave.
what it is.
Mature Monday.
And I hope you didn't forget about the Instagram people, because you haven't looked to your left in a while.
Hey, y'all, we're going around the horn just in case you missed that.
I'm gonna say a couple of things. One, gratitude.
Awesome.
Give thanks, bro, because it's some folk. Man, my cousin lost her dad and her granddad the same week. Dang, we give thanks. Give thanks because we here and we have another opportunity to do it. And the second thing I'm gonna say is we have the power. Anything you want to do in life, manifest it because it can happen. God has already prepared the path. He has already placed the people that you need. He has already placed the situation. You just got to go manifest it. My whole life, people have said I'm favored. And I have worn them with pride to think I am special. I just realized last month, I just realized this. It's not that God sprinkled some favor dust on every third person. He sprinkled favor dust on everybody. The people who recognize that they are highly favored, they just walk in it. They received the favor dust and they walk and they move forward with it. Everybody else who don't say they're not favored, it's because they don't believe it. But God gave it to you. God didn't make you, God didn't make one person special over the next. We got it all, baby. Whatever you want to do, you can do.
That's awesome, man. Great message. Great message.
Eric, how am I follow Reverend Keedar? Keedar done just preached a sermonette.
Right, a little bit.
Man, I just, just amazes me and just all the different things that you do, man. And, and just appreciate what you're doing, man, for the youth out there, man. I could just imagine what it would be like to be in your class, because I'm sure that all of that kind of comes together in a class. I'm sure one thing the class is never going to be is boring. That's just not going to happen. But just everything that you said today around just kind of how you pivoted, and the kind of your vision for your organization and where you're going. I mean, it just, it just makes all of us should just think about how we're going to be able to pivot and, and not just get stuck in, okay, here's the situation. Schools are not, people aren't going to school. Okay, you found where there was a need, right? You addressed a need. And I think that's really what this whole pivot thing is about is, there's still needs out there, when you see what that need is, then see how you can best address it. So I think you've done a great job of that, and I think that's helped all of us, not just entrepreneurs, but just just individuals. Like, no need to crying about it. You need to figure something out and figure out what you're gonna do now, Aaron.
Right.
I mean, it really just speaks to that whole. We talk about the what now movement. It's like, okay, what now? And he certainly has answered that question. So when I think about my around the horn piece, we talked about at the beginning this idea of finding your sweet spot, and you can tell just by watching Keedar, he's found his, right. Whenever he's talking about it, just watch his body language when he starts talking about education. It's just like he's leaning into it. He's passionate about that thing.
You can't fail no class that Keedar is in because he get you just didn't want to pass it. You failed a class,
Right. And that has to come across when he's getting business, right?
Yeah.
When he's not talking to potential clients. I mean, that has to come across. And I think this has been like a great example of why you need to find your sweet spot and why you need to find that thing that you're passionate. I mean, he's doing a lot of things. I mean, he's acting. I didn't hear that same passion when he was talking about being on Showtime.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
True.
I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna be on Showtime. Did y'all hear me say I was gonna be on Showtime? Like I said that about 3 more times throughout the show.
I can cash that check. That's right.
But no, I mean, so I think that's the key takeaway. Everybody needs to focus on what their sweet spot is, and what's that thing that really just causes you to feel that passion.
Find that passion and love it.
For sure. All right, it's something I didn't mention at the beginning, but I guess I'll go ahead and mention it now. It pains me to say this. I left this out of the bio. I guess I'll just.
I don't know why it pains you.
Our guest is a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I didn't even mention that at the beginning.
Would you look at there? Look at that red, that crimson curtain in the background.
You see it.
That's it.
All 01 EZ, number 12, Bobby Boucher.
Mob life.
Oh, goodness. This show is slowly turning into the Kappa Hour.
Just blessing you, man. That's it. We just
That's it.
That's it. Okay, cool. But now this has been an awesome show.
this is great. I'm about to share this ASAP.
Yeah, man. So special shout out to Keedar Whittle. Again, I know you gave it to us earlier, but give it to the folks again. You know, we got a late arriving crowd. So you got more people that have arrived since you gave it the last time. But yeah, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
At Keedar, at KEEDAR. Always send me an email, office@educatorsnowllc.com. You just find me on social media. Somebody will respond. I might not be, but somebody will respond to you.
Good stuff.
All right. Fantastic. Well, that concludes this week's episode of the 30-Minute Hour podcast.
Yes.
Again, it's not your everyday podcast. Make sure you go to our website, the30minutehour.net. Shout out once again to the folks watching on Instagram, on IGTV. I didn't forget about you. I might not have been looking at you the whole time, but I didn't forget about you.
You was thinking about them.
That's right. You was on my mind this whole episode.
Love it.
Yeah, but this has been fantastic. Until next time, have a great one.
Thank you.